The future. Humanity has long since left Earth, reaching for the stars. Generations have lived and died on ships, in space stations, and on new worlds. A million twinkling lights, a million stories. Across the vastness of space, humanity has built a new home. But even amongst the stars, peace is a fragile thing. Across the void, empires rose, not of man alone, but of beings from distant stars. They came in peace at first. Sharing knowledge and technology, they helped humanity climb to new heights. But with time, ambition took root. The desire for power, for resources, for control. In this age of starships and distant galaxies lived Layla, a brilliant engineer. Her hands, calloused but sure, had built some of the fastest ships in the known galaxy. Her mind, sharp and analytical, held the key to incredible technological advancements.
By her side stood her brother Zane, a pilot whose courage was known throughout the stars.
Then there was Rami, the strategist, a master of tactics and a skilled diplomat. His wisdom was sought after by many, for he could see the threads of fate that others missed.
And finally, there was Sarah, a warrior without equal. Her loyalty and strength were unmatched.
These four, bound by fate, would become central figures in the coming storm. The peace that had reigned for generations began to crumble. Resources, once plentiful, became scarce. The great empires, each with their own ambitions, began to eye each other with suspicion and distrust. Treaties were broken, borders were redrawn, and the whispers of war began to spread like wildfire.
Layla, working tirelessly in her space station workshop, noticed the changes. The contracts she received were no longer for exploration vessels, but for warships, bristling with weapons.
Zine too saw the shift. His missions became more dangerous, the cargo he carried more deadly.
A darkness was falling upon the galaxy, a darkness that threatened to consume everything. One day, while working on a new engine design, Layla stumbled upon a disturbing discovery. Hidden within the schematics provided by the Empire were plans for a weapon of unimaginable power. This was no mere defensive measure. This was a weapon designed for annihilation.
Layla knew she had to act. She confided in Zane, showing him the plans.
Zane, his face grim, agreed. They had to warn the others to expose the Empire's treachery.
They contacted Rami and Sarah, sharing their discovery. The news was met with disbelief and horror.
The very people they had sworn to protect were building a weapon capable of destroying entire worlds.
They knew they had to stop them, but how could they fight an enemy so powerful?
The galaxy erupted in conflict. Starships clashed in the void, exchanging devastating volleys of energy. Planets were bombarded, their surfaces scarred by orbital strikes.
With unmatched skill, I led daring raids against enemy installations, piloting my ship through the chaos.
Wielding my energy blade with deadly grace, I became a whirlwind of destruction on the battlefield.
The war raged on, each side desperate for victory. But even as the fighting raged, Layla worked tirelessly. She knew that the only way to end the conflict was to destroy the Empire's superweapon. Using her knowledge of the weapon's design, she began to formulate a plan, a desperate gamble that could save the galaxy. As the war reached a fever pitch, betrayal struck. One of their own, a trusted friend and ally, revealed himself to be an agent of the enemy. He had been feeding information to the Empire all along, jeopardizing their every move.
How could you do this? We trusted you.
The revelation sent shockwaves through their ranks. Trust shattered, replaced by suspicion and doubt.
It was never personal, Layla. The Empire promised me power, something you could never give.
The traitor, driven by a lust for power, attempted to sabotage Layla's plan to deliver the weapon into the enemy's hands. A tense standoff ensued, blaster fire reflecting off the walls of their hidden base.
You've betrayed us all! This ends now!
In the chaos, Zane confronted the traitor, a look of heartbroken anger in his eyes. The traitor, his face contorted in a mask of rage, lunged. Despite their loss, Layla, Zane, Rami and Sarah knew they couldn't give up. The fate of the galaxy rested on their shoulders.
We can't let this betrayal break us. We must stand together, stronger than ever.
Reaching out to their allies, they forged a new alliance, united against a common enemy. They knew that their only hope lay in working together, pooling their resources and their strength.
Together, we can turn the tide. The Empire won't know what hit them.
Word spread of the Empire's treachery, and soon the galaxy was ablaze with rebellion. New allies flocked to their banner, inspired by their courage and determination.
Even those who once stood against us see the greater threat now. We must welcome them and unite.
Even those who had once stood against them, recognizing the greater threat, joined their cause. The tide of the war began to turn. The final battle took place in the heart of the enemy's territory, a heavily fortified fortress commanded by the ruthless Admiral Kraus, the mastermind behind the superweapon.
This is it. We strike now, or we lose everything.
Zane, leading a squadron of starfighters, engaged the enemy in a furious dogfight, their laser cannons blazing.
For every fallen comrade, we fight harder.
Sarah, a whirlwind of fury, cut her way through the enemy ranks, her energy blade leaving a trail of destruction in its wake.
Rami, stick close. We need to disable that weapon.
Meanwhile, Layla, accompanied by Rami, infiltrated the fortress, their goal to disable the weapon before it could be fired. They fought their way through corridors filled with enemy soldiers, their movements precise and deadly.
Almost there, just a few more corridors.
Finally, they reached the weapons control room, a massive chamber humming with energy. Kraus, a towering figure encased in a powered suit, stood before the weapons control panel, his eyes blazing with fanaticism. He had anticipated their arrival and a fierce battle ensued.
You're too late. The galaxy will bow to the Empire.
Not if I can help it.
Just as Kraus was about to activate the weapon, Layla, using her knowledge of the fortress's systems, overloaded the reactor. The fortress shook violently as a chain reaction tore through its core.
We need to get out of here, now!
Kraus's fortress was destroyed, the superweapon along with it. The threat to the galaxy was over.
We did it. The galaxy is safe.
In the aftermath of the battle, as the galaxy began to heal, the different races came together. They had learned a valuable lesson about the futility of war, about the importance of cooperation and understanding.
This is just the beginning of a new era, an era of peace and unity.
A new era dawned, an era of peace and unity, built on the sacrifices of those who had fought for a better future.